right.
young
That's
people.
why I mentioned our churches. I think churches and programs like yours will hopefully better educate. What we are finding in the data is that regardless of social class, in many instances within the African American community, we still have this gap between African Americans and European Americans within these test scores. So while we have moved up economically, occupationally, and even educationally within our parents, we are still not taking that time that is needed with our children to place that emphasis on reading, that emphasis on spending time learning math. So it's this whole notion of that socialization process in learning that is needed there. And I would strongly recommend that we give some very strong thought to that. It's just important today as we are talking about it, as it will be at the end of the 21st century to do the same types of things. Now, that said, the African American community has always valued education. You know, from an earlier time period when we were enslaved, that mother and father always felt that that next generation would be better. So that's always been a strong value. But now we are dealing with in this telecommunications society, a point in time where we have to be very conscious of that we need to be very in tune as far as parent being a teacher and teachers being teachers and helping students to learn these new goals and objectives as far as higher education is concerned. So I hope that our churches can be very important. You know, talk shows like this to have educators to come in and to talk about it. Hopefully the churches can come up with innovative programs to help even pre-kindergartners start to learn about this all the way up to college, and they're ready and they're prepared.
You know, one of the great controversies, I think, Doctor, as we've got about 4 minutes, and I certainly want to see if we can take advantage of your knowledge in reference to this, has been this whole issue of Washington on the one hand and Du Bois on the other hand, and this whole conflict in terms of which is the best form of education for African Americans, etc. Looking at education in the 21st century, what would you say to African American young people today about what their desires ought to be in terms of getting this higher education there? Should they be involved in technology, or should they be involved in speak to it from that?
Absolutely. And as we all may very well know about that great debate between Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington, of course, felt that we should go out and learn technical skills, you know, be involved in agriculture, learn some type of a skill. And Du Bois felt, on the other hand, that we should be intellectuals. We should free our minds, emancipate our minds from that enslavement process. And I think today in this 21st century, we were talking to them both. If they were sitting here with us, I think they would agree that we need both. That we need this higher education and emancipate our minds, think about Akbar's piece on the psychological aspect of enslavement. We need to free ourselves from that as well as learn the technology. So Du Bois' piece on education speaks to that very phenomenon. In the speech that he gave, he talked about how we have to learn to be able to be